to this 1st of October 2024 meeting of the Values and Ethics Subcommittee or the Committee of the Bristol City Council. I was thinking, I'm not very sure, this is probably the first, or maybe even the second, it's not the first, we're meeting as this group, or with this composition. So we'll do introductions anyways, and then we'll proceed with the agenda. I don't believe we're expecting any fire alarms or such, so yeah, if the alarm does go off, you probably know more than I do where the exits are and where we're meant to gather. But very quickly, introductions. My name is Adepola Adebayo, independent member and chair of Values and Ethics Committee. I'll go to my right.
My name is Nancy Rollison. I'm head of legal services and advising the chair today.
Councillor David Wilcox, president of the Green Group.
Nathan Stevens, Liberal Democrat.
Jonathan Hacker, Conservative Group.
Councillor Cass Self, Labour Group, substituting for Tim Bridlington.
Alison Taylor, Democratic Services.
Thank you very much. And Alison has extended apologies from Councillor Rippleton, but if you want to...
Councillor Self has just did it, but I'll do it for the record that yes, Councillor Rippleton sends his apologies and you have Councillor Self as substitute.
Thank you. Moving on the agenda, any declarations of interest? No? Thank you. Minutes of the last meeting. I had to extend my apologies for that one, so I wasn't in the room. It would be useful to confirm if there are any councillors who were and were able to confirm the contents of the minutes.
It was a very brief meeting, Chair.
Okay, very short.
Yeah, I think those minutes are fine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving on then on the agenda. Public forum now. Alison, do you want to lead on this? Any opening statements? Any comments?
Chair, no for you two. We only have one submission for this meeting, so
Yeah.
Dan would like to speak.
Hi, Dan. Do you want to read out the statement?
I'll address it briefly, yeah. So one of the most amusing things I've seen while attending council meetings is Acorn trying to claim credit for the council tax reduction scheme being saved, when really they should have been thanking an arch Tory councillor, Jeff Gollop, for speaking so passionately in favour of it being kept. On the other hand, I do not think it's appropriate for Hibat Jama to be nominated to be an older person. Of the single committee she chaired, she was only attended 2 out of the 4 meetings, and in the final years of her being a councillor, her attendance dropped to a very low rate of about 1 in 3 meetings. More seriously than that though, she was not available to her constituents. There was a tragic fire in Twinner House in which someone died and 8 people were injured. People in her ward were unable to contact her during this traumatic time. So I don't support her nomination, but for all older persons, it'd be good to remind them not to abuse their position. It was ridiculous seeing an older person using their privilege of being allowed on the chamber floor to distribute gifts immediately before they were asking the council to change a policy in their favour. Thank you.
Thank you. Your statement is noted. Moving on the agenda, the next item is the honorary alderman, alderwoman, and alderperson nominations to be presented by you, Nancy.
Thank you, Chair. So it falls to this committee to consider within their terms of reference nominations for honorary alderman, alderwoman and alderpersons which have been submitted by political groups and to make a recommendation to full council regarding the appointments. You have, the report has those nominations together with the details submitted by political groups, and your role as delegated by full council is to ensure that all of the nominations meet the set criteria, and if you are satisfied that they meet the set criteria, then you are able to recommend that to full council for their consideration. So I thought it might be helpful, given some questions that have been received, to actually go through the criteria.
Yeah.
So what you're doing today is, so if I go through the criteria, so they're eligible for nomination. Firstly, that they're no longer a serving councillor. Secondly, that they provided eminent service to the council, and that has been defined by full council. The criteria has been agreed as being they've served for a minimum period of 2 electoral terms as a councillor, and they've held a significant position of public responsibility within the council for a minimum period of 1 calendar year or 1 municipal year, either as Lord Mayor, elected Mayor, Deputy or Assistant Mayor, Leader of the Council, Executive Member, or any other position attracting the payment of an SRS, or a Special Responsibility Allowance, under the Council's Approved Members Allowance Scheme. Or they have long service as a Bristol City or Avon County Councillor for an aggregate period of at least 10 years, with at least 1 term served as Bristol City Councillor. Now, I wanted to confirm, clarify and confirm the position of the elected mayor. It does list the elected mayor as being one of the positions, but I just wanted to specify that although that an elected mayor is treated as a member for these purposes. The Local Government Act specifically states that regulations made by the Secretary of State under this paragraph would provide that an elected mayor is to be treated as a member or councillor of a local authority for the purposes of an enactment whenever passed or made. So that's Section 9H of the Local Government Act 2000. Councillor Coombe, I believe that was your
That is the reference I'm looking for, thank you.
Does that assist?
Thank you again, I'll send it to that.
So yes, if you Google Local Government Act 2000, Section 9H.
Okay.
Section 9H4. So that's that clarification. And also to clarify another question that was asked, just in case it's raised, that a party whip does attract an SRA. So there, I think that's another query that had been raised. So sorry, a special responsibility allowance, which is one of the criteria that you have to meet to qualify.
I can indeed confirm that.
So I think obviously councillors, any more questions about the criteria? But what I would clarify is once that you have determined that the criteria have been met, then you can recommend to the full council for further consideration.
Okay. But thank you very much, Nancy. Before we begin, by my count, there are 19 nominations. My understanding, do we have to go through each one in detail? Otherwise, I would recommend, and I'll open the floor very soon, to any commendations or any other comments by any of the councillors, specifically regarding any cases. Otherwise, on your guidance, Nancy, do we actually have to go through each and every one of the appendices and consider them individually? Or we can make it in one list?
I think it would be useful if you went through each councillor and confirmed, and you can confirm. I'm assuming all members of the councillors have read the papers, so already
That was my
know
assumption.
know what's been written about those councillors. So I would suggest for each councillor you consider them individually and say whether you consider that for that councillor the criteria have been met.
Okay, we'll do it that way then. Is that okay with
Yep.
the other members of the
I think
council?
that's clearer then, isn't it?
Thank you. So starting from the top, I have Councillor Leslie Ann Alexander. Comments, thoughts? Again, I'm looking to the rest of the committee because I don't know this individual well enough.
Yeah,
to comment
she's
about
met the criteria.
Yeah.
Perhaps you could, I think perhaps as you're going through,
Yeah.
if there's any questions or queries or objections about that particular council, we could do it that way, Chair.
Yes.
So, the Green Group does have some reservations about Leslie Alexander being made an older person because of some comments she made in the planning committee about sexual practices in the toilet that didn't go down for others. Go down if you look at the national press, it's reported there, and the Green Group will not be voting for Leslie Alexander.
So, thank you, Councillor. But I think for this purposes, for this committee, you're just looking at the criteria.
Okay, she meets the criteria, but bear in mind that when it comes to the vote, we won't be voting for her.
Okay.
I'll be basing my judgment just on the criteria, and as far as I'm concerned, Leslie Alexander meets the criteria.
Thank you. Councillor.
This council has defined eminent service, not as serving eminently, it's serving for a long time, and under that basis, 21 years counts.
Yes, certainly it does.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the next individual on the list, Steve Smith.
Happy with the services, Lord Mayor? Yes.
I believe he meets the criteria.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2 elections.
Yeah, perfectly happy.
Thank you. Chris Windows.
He meets the criteria, but the Green Group will not be voting for him.
Thank you, Councillor.
He meets
15
the
years
criteria.
criteria.
Meets the criteria, fine by me.
Thank you. Jeffrey Gallup.
Indeed, he does. Yes, more than happy.
Thank you very much.
Fine by me.
Yeah.
23 years, more than 10.
Kevin Corton.
Long service.
Very
18
long
years.
service.
Yeah.
Surprisingly long service.
Fine by me.
Thank you. Christopher Davis.
Yeah. 21 years service, and I was there twice.
Across
Double the
multiple,
requirements.
across multiple parties, is that
Fine by me.
Thank you. Carla Daniel.
So the clarification that I have sought, because the citation is unclear as to whether she was indeed in receipt of an SRA, i.e. a whip, for a calendar or a municipal year. The sentence is between 2015 and 2018 she held the whip agreed party whip for 1 year. Doesn't say calendar or municipal, and I believe that Councillor Wilcox has a correction.
Yes, that's 3 years she was actually working.
So I think it's worth mentioning that.
So 3 consecutive.
Yes, 3 consecutive years.
I echo Councillor Coombs' comments about this being one of the most unclear submissions in the pack, but I'm happy.
On the basis of that amended correction, she was elected twice and held a responsible position for over a year. That qualifies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. Asher Craig.
Fine by me.
Meets the criteria.
She does.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brenda Massey.
Well, if I may say, I replaced Brenda Massey, and so absolutely got my support on this one.
Yeah. I
So,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
13 years is enough.
And led the Avon Fire Authority as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Chris Jackson?
18 years meets our criteria.
Does
Yeah.
indeed. And
Yeah.
yes, with
Mhm.
Thank you. Craig Chen?
We've got 3 elections. Not quite 10 years, but 3 elections and a position of responsibility.
Fine by me.
Helen Godwin?
2 elections and a cabinet member. That meets the criteria.
Fine by me.
Yep.
Helen Holland?
Fine by me.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm surprised this position wasn't most of this paper.
Heba Chama?
She does meet the criteria that the Green Party will not be supporting. Her attendance was absolutely shocking. Looking at her stats, she had the opportunity to go to 131 meetings during her, 52 meetings in the last administration, and she only attended 18 of them. Absolutely appalling. When she was licensing chair, she only went to 5 meetings over the whole period. So the Green Party does not support her back and becoming another person.
I will note that, but regarding the
But
meetings...
meets the criteria, certainly, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I consider
Anyone else?
11 years.
EBAC was a councillor for 11 years, meeting the non-service requirements.
Yeah.
She was elected 3 times, demonstrated her electorate, saw her as an effective councillor. As a new councillor myself, I recognise that a lot of work that's done isn't necessarily in the council chamber, attended meetings, and she was visible and active on many campaigns.
Thank you, Councillor. Again, all noted, and we'll also note that she does meet the criteria.
She does indeed.
Thank you. Mark Bradshaw, now.
Another councillor with a long esteemed service.
Yep, 18 years is clearly more than 10.
Fine by me.
Thank you. Martin Rees.
Does meet the criteria, and I look forward to seeing him again in the chamber.
I think it would help to have minuted that he is a councillor subject to the Local Government Act 2000 provisions, because that wasn't set out in the citation here, or indeed the introduction to the report.
Okay. I will note that, Alison. Thank you.
I certainly accept that, and I think it's good to have that clarification from Councillor Coombs, but to the legal department, I really appreciate it. But fine by me.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine by me.
Thank you.
2 elections and some responsibility, it's great.
Cheers. Nicola Beach.
Fine by
Meets the
me.
criteria.
Yeah.
Steve Pearce.
Yeah, happy with Steve.
Fine by me.
Non-service.
And final one, Afdal Shah.
Yes, so 8 years, that suggests that there are 2 elections in there, although it's not stated, and he was appointed to the cabinet.
Fine by me.
Yeah, meets the
Yeah.
criteria.
Thank you. So that's the entire list. So on that basis, are we happy to recommend the full list?
On the basis that they meet the criteria.
That we all meet the criteria?
I think it would be good that we make that absolutely clear that the committee were only considering the criteria.
Yes. I will nominate that and confirm the recommendation. Thank you. Is there anything more expected of us?
No,
Nancy?
that's it. That's it.
Thank you. And I believe that's
Apologies.
sorry, I'm trying to find go back to the agenda. That's the final
That's
item.
it, Chair. Yeah, just one item.
Just one item. Thank you. That's it. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.